This is Omni Sports Breakfast. Sports with Kevin McCallum and MKT.
As discussed in the headlines, Joe Root is something else. Joe Root is now the highest run scorer for England in Test cricket of all time. He surpassed Sir Alastair Cook's mark of 12,472 runs yesterday on his way to 176 not out at the close of play against Pakistan. Fellow English stalwart Ben Stokes was just gushing about his teammate following the achievement. Here's what Ben Stokes had to say about Joe Root.
You'd think that there'd have to be a little bit of selfishness about a player, but everything that he does when he's got his bat as a hand is all about the team. I remember a couple of years ago where he was getting stick left, right and centre for not converting his 50s into 100s, but he was averaging over 50. I just couldn't get my head around it. There's the amount of times that he's won us the game with the bat. Never mind the conversion rate, because converting these 50s into 100 doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win the game. But the selflessness that he has is an incredible attribute for him. He always puts the team first, and the fact that he has got so many runs is just a bonus for us. He's 33. I don't know how many games he's played 100 and whatever games in a row. So that's an amazing thing. So 33, you think he could easily go through these 37, 38, maybe even 39. So if he plays all the Test matches from now until then, I don't see why not. He's too good of a player to not at least get close to, but I personally would be backing him to go past it.
Now, enter the couch experts like myself is, fine, he's got all these runs, but there is a context to everything. Everything happens within a context. I like Joe Root, although I got to be honest, I don't like Joe Root. He plays for England and there is an unspoken rivalry. There's a respect for him. And I've never really been sort of behind Joe Root because I think they play too weaker opposition. Having said that, everybody gets to play the same people. Is Joe Root now better than Alastair Cook? Or should we look a little deeper than just the runs?
I think Joe Root's always been better than Alastair Cook. Alastair Cook was a bit of a run machine, but Joe Root's a better batsman from my liking. I see that he's been likened to Michelangelo by the Guardian today, which is a little over the top. Maybe a bit of a Banksy. But I mean, he's the same guy who once, I think it was David Warner, tried to punch him in a pub and there was a bit of a scuffle. But I like the way he plays. I always have done. And I'm actually a bit of a fan of Joe Root.
Greatest English player of all time?
Not a chance. I mean, that's got to be Botham, surely.
Well, see, the Botham cult figure is one which has been difficult to overcome. I wonder how much of Botham's, for those who don't know, the great Sir Ian Botham as well, he was an all-rounder who had, by modern-day standards, I don't want to call them, actually more of a bowling all-rounder who could really whack it about, is when you look at his numbers. I mean, we've got Jacques Kallis here, who's, for me, the greatest cricketer of all time because he could do everything at a higher level than everyone, and he's probably the second, third greatest batsman of all time. The Sir Ian Botham one is always divisive because he's also such a great humanitarian. So I don't know if that sort of seeps in, or for you, do you just feel like you've never seen anything like Ian Botham?
I think Kallis is probably as good, if not better, than Ian Botham, to be quite honest with him. But Botham played in the era when the West Indies were on the up. He had the great Sir Viv Richards up against him. That West Indian team, the battles that they had was something extraordinary. Also, the battles against Australia. But I still think Jacques Kallis. I mean, you ask any batsman and player from the sort of late 80s onwards to the 90s, the noughties, they'll go with Jacques Kallis as the most talented batsman and most talented bowler and all-round cricketer they've seen in their lives.
You can be a part of the conversation. 07 88 77 7716. His career is nowhere near over, according to Michael Atherton and Sir Alastair Cook. Is Joe Root now the greatest English batsman of all time? I mean, this is the sort of cannon fodder we love as sports fans. This is what keeps us glued. People will argue this until the next generation as to whether is it all about runs or, as Kevin says, has bowling become worse and pitches become flatter? Interesting conversation to be had there. Michael Atherton and Sir Alastair Cook think Joe Root can surpass Sachin Tendulkar's 15,921 runs. Root is now 33 and on 12,578 runs, which means he would need another 3,343 runs before retirement. How possible is that? Because 1,000 runs a season, he'd need to have another 3 outrageous seasons, and that's presuming he'll play sort of 10 test matches a year and make 1,000 runs a season. And everybody thinks in your 30s you can carry on. But we saw Ricky Ponting at like 34, 35. And Ricky Ponting, I would argue, is one of the greatest, or for me, the greatest, but some people say Sachin Tendulkar. Is Joe Root to reach that mark would have to be outrageous for the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, they have to be in great form and great fitness as well. England are lucky as opposed to South Africa, where they get to play a lot more test matches. They've got the Ashes coming up, so they'll play 5 there. So let's see. But yeah, scoring 1,000 runs a year is a hell of a thing. I mean, it used to be done in county cricket. I think Jimmy Cook, the great South African batsman, he did it a couple of years there. But to score over 1,000 runs in a season, county cricket is hard. That's first-class cricket. To do it in test cricket is even harder.
Joe Root, he's on the cusp of greatness. Can he become the greatest run getter of all time? Because then we open up a whole different conversation, and we know the Sky Sports machine will certainly get behind Joe Root as, I mean, not only are they going to knight him, but can you imagine if Joe Root, oh my God, if he gets the most runs of all time, I mean, Sky Sports are going to, they'll probably create a channel just for him. Sky Root, they'll call it, and it'll just be like his whole career on loop, knowing that whole machine. Anyway, let's finish off in that match. Chasing 556, England scored 492 for 3 at stumps on day 3. Joe Root with 176 and Harry Brook with 141 closed the day out on a massive 243 run partnership. That game is currently going on. Apparently, you're not allowed to watch cricket anywhere in Africa legally, so we can't actually watch it, but Crick Info, shout out to them for having our back. You can follow that game online. 243 partnership. That game will start in the next few minutes. You can obviously catch that on the interwebs. Let's move over to the All England Club, where the robots are coming for all of us. Wimbledon say, we don't mind, we don't care. As of 2025, all line judges at the England Club will be AI. So actually, scrap that. There will be no line judges for the first time in the 147-year history of the championships. There will be no human line judges. The innovation also means Hawkeye, of course used in cricket as well, will also be gone from the championship. And, you know, that's big. I mean, that's been since 2007. So AI, it's been used in New York. There's big rumblings, obviously, in England, traditional central. Your thoughts on AI at Wimbledon?
Yeah, I don't. I'm still unsure about it. I mean, I do like that the fact that line judges sometimes get it wrong, and also, I mean, the great thing about line judges is occasionally they get hit hard with a ball. Some of them get hit hard in the nuts. So that's, I mean, that's enjoyable. You know, that's a fun thing to watch. You know, and as can you imagine if John McEnroe was around? Can you imagine? You cannot be serious.
Yeah.
AI, you cannot be serious.
Now, every now and then I'll go onto YouTube to watch McEnroe rants, and it's just a good old time. You know, sometimes I'll just make some popcorn. There's nothing to watch. You know, I've watched all of YouTube, and I just think to myself, what would cheer me up right now? You know what? It's John McEnroe yelling at umpires. That's what cheers me up. But good call. I think this is big. 300 people for the first time in championship history. I mean, let's call it what it is. It's cost cutting. It's big business now. You know, you got to pay. You know what? It's not enough to pay Novak 30 million a year. He needs 32 million a year. So that's what Wimbledon will tell you is we pay the guys who matter. Production will get you paid, and it's all about the players. The line judges, get them out of here. Are we moving into a dystopian future where human beings aren't needed at all, Kevin?
No, I doubt it. I mean, we're always going to have the human error. I mean, whether it be in rugby with a TMO, whether it be a referee with VAR. I mean, VAR is supposed to be AI personified and semi-automated, but it makes more mistakes than your average Toyota Corolla.
Yeah. Well, my question is this then. Why do you need umpires now? If you've got AI line judges, what are umpires doing? Unless... And like if there's a rule violation, I can just come down from the stands. But you serve, we all understand how a set works. Stop paying the umpires. Well, why do we need them? Is their whole job just to call in and out?
Well, you can't have a Stephen Hawking's type voice saying 30 love. You know, you need a sort of 30 love. Yeah. You know, you need a bit of fun, a bit of accent.
Okay, AI is not good enough yet to replicate a cool 30 love deuce yet, but we'll get there. Trust me, the machines are coming. Wimbledon says we don't care. Get it out the way. 0788 777716. Do you like to see those well-dressed line judges, or do you not care? Get involved, Africa. Get in the conversation. Do you love Wimbledon? Let's move on to our question of the day. What soccer trophy did in the UK did Portsmouth hold from 1939 to 1946 due to World War II? We'll give that answer at the end of the show. In 60 seconds, he's cold. He's Cole Palmer. We'll get into some football news on that great talent.
Listen live and on demand.
Welcome to Omni Sport.